All right, guys, week 4 of fantasy hockey has a very unique schedule to it, so you're going to want to pay attention to this video so you can maximize your chances of winning your upcoming week in fantasy hockey. These are going to be your best stream options for this upcoming week at forwards, defensemen, and goalies. Let's get into the video, guys. All right, so very interesting schedule out of the NHL for this upcoming week. As you can see, there really isn't an off night for this upcoming week in week 4. There is one super busy night where we have 11 games being played on the Saturday, but other than that, you're going to have a very consistent week. So when it comes to streaming players, there are specific players that you're going to want to target. I will address this in the next little bit, but just so you're aware, there isn't going to be a lot of technically off nights or busy nights. So I've just really said that Wednesday and Friday are kind of the off nights because there's only 6 games on both of those. And then the one busy night is really just the Saturday. So that's what we're going to go with going forward. So like I said, those 2 off nights, October 30th and November 1st, are the less busy days throughout this week. 4 teams have both of those off nights playing with 4 games, which are the Flames, the Blue Jackets, the Lightning, and the Jets. So we're going to want to target those players as well as a handful of teams that have 4 games and 1 off night. And for your max game schedule, in order to get 5 games out of this week, you're going to want to add somebody from the Islanders or the Sharks, and then add or drop on the Wednesday and grab one of those 5 teams, the Bruins, the Blackhawks, the Kraken, the Leafs, or the Caps, in order to get the maximum amount of games for this week. Our schedule for this week, again, is going to be pretty much just the main busy nights. November 2nd, I just classified the other 3, as busy nights because they're technically more than 6 games. So then we have the Stars, the Wings, and the Devils that only play 2 games. So if you have anybody from this team that you can afford to drop to pick somebody up that plays 4 games throughout this week, I highly recommend that you do so. It should drastically help you in terms of winning this upcoming week for fantasy hockey. On to my priority forward streams. Mikael Granlund has been absolutely lights out for the San Jose Sharks. He's playing line 1 and power play 1, plays 4 games this week. It doesn't matter that he's on the Sharks. He's still producing at an insane rate right now. He's got points in his last 6 games, including multiple multi-point nights. Center right wing eligible, should be rostered a lot more than 36%. So if you can grab this guy, I would highly recommend that you do so. And then the Blue Jackets' first line has just been unbelievable. Chinakhov and Marchenko have been fantastic. Chinakhov also blocks and hits quite significantly as well, both doing really well in terms of their production. So highly recommending grabbing either of those guys. I did see that they moved Chinakhov to second line left wing recently. I don't know if that's just them kind of mixing up the lines throughout the game, but just something to keep an eye on. I can't imagine that would affect his production too much. He's been fantastic. Same with Marchenko. And then Matthew Knight should continue to be a priority forward stream. The Leafs play 4 games this week. He's playing line 1 with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. His production's been great. His shot volume's been good, and he hits and chips in that category as well. So again, a really good stream option for week 4. Some other forward streams for this week. Igor Sharangovich is back off of injuries. He scored 30 goals last year. He's slated on line 1, power play 1 in the most recent game. So he should be a good target for this week as well, given the fact that he's got 2 off nights. A little bit hesitant on that because I don't know exactly how they're going to mesh their lineup with Sharangovich coming back. They could possibly just move him around the lineup to start or just keep him on line 1, power play 1. So that's why he wasn't a priority for me this week, but still should be a really, really good add. Cole Perfetti's also been really good. I'm a little bit hesitant on Perfetti due to his average time on ice that I'm seeing out of him. He's seeing a lot of games under 60 minutes, even though he is skating on that second line technically and power play 1. But he's been producing at a really good rate, skating alongside Nikolai Ehlers, who's had a really good start in the first 4 weeks here. So again, Perfetti should be a good option. Sean Monahan, again, skating on that line 1 in Columbus. They've been great. Just an easy pickup for me. Gets you some shot volume, gets you some good production. Nito Niederreiter is a good mix of shots and hits and production as well. Line 3, power play 2, so he doesn't quite have that upside that Perfetti does playing on that top power play. But again, he's got 8 points so far, and he's been shooting and hitting on top of that. And then Nick Paul, very similar to Nito Niederreiter. Good option in terms of production, hits, shots. He kind of does it all. He's skating on that power play 1 and line 2. There's not really a lot of defensemen available for this upcoming week, guys, in terms of stream options. Oliver Ekman-Larsson should continue to be a priority if he's not. Jake Wallman is really your best option in terms of grabbing a power play 1 defenseman. I'm expecting his ownership percentage to jump pretty significantly just in general. He's got a good mix of shots, hits, and blocks. Even though the points haven't necessarily been flowing with Wallman, I think he's a great option, and you get power play 1 exposure. And once Macklin Celebrini's back, that power play should drastically improve. Adam Larson is a great kind of peripherals option, shots, hits, blocks, plays pair 1, plays a ton of minutes in Seattle, especially with Vince Dunn being out. He's seeing so much ice time right now. He's great for peripheral stats. And then Riker Evans is like skating alongside Adam Larson on that top pair, but he does get that power play 2 upside that we know Seattle kind of splits up their power play. You won't get exposure to a guy like Jared McCann, but again, they do like to kind of share their power play load in Seattle. So Riker Evans does have a little bit of upside there if you're in deeper leagues. And again, any of the teams that I recommended in terms of like a good schedule for this week, look at some of their depth defensemen if you need to grab somebody with peripherals. These are just some guys that I highlighted that should be good options for this upcoming week. Again, OEL and Wallman should be your priorities. And then moving on to goaltending, again, not a lot of back-to-backs because they've kind of spread out the schedule so far. I think Semyon Varlamov is a great option for those of you in some shallower leagues like 10-man leagues, 8-man leagues for a good option there. October 29th and 30th versus either the Ducks or the Blue Jackets, so they should have a pretty good shot at winning. Jonas Korpisalo, again, should see a good option on a back-to-back against Philly. I think that's the first game of the back-to-back, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just gave Swayman a break and played him on the back-to-back, but Korpisalo should see the easier matchup against Philadelphia. David Riddick, again, targeting San Jose. They haven't won a game in regulation, so we want to target anybody that plays against San Jose, really. David Riddick, I know he hasn't been good, but he is playing against San Jose, so I think that's a fine option for you guys. 12% owned should be available to pretty much everybody. And then somebody that should be available to pretty much everybody that you need to be capitalizing on is Eric Comrie. He's been great in the 2 starts that he's had. He's seeing a lot more volume than we expected. It's not just like he's only seeing back-to-backs. He's played 2 of the last 4 games for the Jets. So again, targeting Columbus, a weaker team so far to start the year. Comrie should be a really good option for you guys. That will do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, pretty unique schedule, so you should be good with the majority of your main lineups. But again, if you do have some of those lower end players on those teams that only play 2 games, highly recommend streaming somebody for this week out of the teams that play 4 games. So definitely look to do that. That'll be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck in your week 4 of fantasy hockey.